And welcome to LUTV's coverage. Tonight, Leeds United's 21s are in action against Birmingham City at the LNER Community Stadium in York, and it is the final game of the group stages of the Premier League Cup. And Leeds have work to do. They could still qualify, but they need to win and get results to go their way. The same can be said for Birmingham, who are fourth. Leeds are in third, and Leeds' campaign, which started so well, has just faded away in the last few weeks. It's just been the case of the season. Players going out on loan for experience, which has been so vital for them, and then, of course, an upturn in league results, a dip in cup results. And it's just the way that sometimes the cookie crumbles when development football, and Leeds will hope a return to home soil and a regular run of fixtures can help their cause. In terms of the team tonight for Scott Gardner's side, there you go, with a change at the back in goal with Ombang getting the chance to start. At right back it's Richards, then Moore, Lopata-White, Monteiro and Ferguson. The durability of Leeds is that Moore or Monteiro could just dip into midfield if necessary. A team of them, McFadden, Cresswell, Coleman and Douglas. And then up top, a Trialist in the number 9 jersey. In terms of subs, it's George Kenyon, Reece Chadwick, Oliver Pickles, Harry Gray and Josh McDonald. And for tonight's visitors, who are coached by Steve Spooner, it's Brad Mayo, Byron Pendleton, Mazwi, Taylor Dodd, Godfrey Boakye, Josh Home, Donovan, Alfie Chang, Bateman, Zaid Betteka and Daniel Isichei. And the subs are William O'Sullivan, George Wynne, Alvaro Ruiz-Rente, Frank Tattum and Stoyan Pergelov. Birmingham did beat Leeds, in fact, in their last game in this competition against each other. That was 3-2 in November. Delighted to say I'm joined by Eddie White tonight, and it's the part of the game where, Eddie, as a youngster, you've been here. What is it like when you've got on a good run, you're in a cup competition, then the league picks up, and then you play a few teammates go on loan, you've got the Christmas break, you've got call off for weather, you've got games move for other scheduling issues, and then you form dips, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you have to win the last game. And I guess you have to grow up quickly. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. How are you, Tom? It's very true. It's disruptive in a lot of aspects. You know, like I said, this time of year, pitches aren't always the greatest. Games got coiled off with the weather. And it makes things difficult to find rhythm and momentum. It's an opportunity tonight, though, to get back to winning ways, hopefully, and put themselves in a good position where hopefully they can get go through to the next round of the cup. Obviously, we are hoping that results do go our way to allow that as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That is the case, and again, we've seen the potential of Leeds' group this season, where they have managed to really get going and impress, and they've got a strong back line tonight, probably the strongest they could have put together in terms of experience, with Diogo Monteiro, Ruben Lopata-White and Chris Moore all featuring at centre half. Could be a makeshift back three. It could also be perhaps one of those players pushing up into midfield. So we'll see how that goes as Ombang gets hold of possession and Lopata-White has the chance to bring it forward. The pitch is in decent enough nick. Of course, certainly the facilities at the LNER Community Stadium are pretty impressive for a team in the position that York are in. Of course, it helps so much that the academy can play on a surface that when it isn't snowing and frozen solid, it does run pretty true. And it's a chance for Leeds just to get the ball down early doors and make a few touches to try and impress. Monteiro's crossfield pass is a really good one. Richards, chance to cross early doors, and he took the opportunity. Don't think there was much wrong with that, AD. Just some good defending. Yeah,
really good play, especially for Monteiro on that diagonal pass. A nice patient build-up along the back four, and then waiting for the opportunity to come. Richards makes a great run down that right-hand side, and yeah, just can't pick out that final ball, but good to see that we put Birmingham on the defensive foot very early on, and it gives us an opportunity to test them from a set play here.
Taking it, here's McFadden. Signal made to his teammates, but the ball into the area is a poor one.
Just seemed like we were overloading the back area there, weren't we? And just missed the first man, which can be a bit frustrating. But he's rectified his mistake here and drawn a foul in that wide area for hopefully another opportunity to put a decent ball in this time.
Yeah, which I think is pretty much the first way of saying apologies. You know, to win an immediate free kick, I think you almost forget about it, and it's actually in a better position.
It is
for Leeds.
It is indeed. It's a real tricky one to defend these sort of areas. If he gets enough pace on it and people get across the first man here, it puts a lot of pressure on the Birmingham City goalkeeper, Brad Mayo.
Yeah, Leeds with McFadden again, another signal to his teammates. It should be a cross. This time it's a 6-yard box headed away. Richards gets to it. There's a bit more fizz on that pass as Richards goes for safety. Back to Ferguson, who just calmly enough knocks it back. I wasn't feeling very calm, and I know AD sat next to me certainly wasn't. There was a jolt from him.
Yeah, I think it was the pitch, wasn't it? It just seemed to bounce up immediately after he played it, but we've regained really good possession and back out to Richards on this right-hand side really well.
Yeah, ball out from him, from Conor Douglas, who, again, just a joy to see him playing able to play regular matches as injuries have unsettled him. Now a chance for Richards once more to get in behind. The cutback was there. There is Ferguson thrashing his right foot across the ball. A tremendous save from Brad Mayo. And Leeds United starting on the front foot. Could have got a goal. There isn't much wrong that Ferguson did with an effort. You often see in this modern game players refuse to use their weaker foot. And that isn't the case. And it's a good purchase on it. An equally good save. And sometimes you've just got to doff the cap.
Yeah, Richards has been involved down that right-hand side, hasn't he, numerous times here early on. There's I think it was Lopata-White just makes a great tackle there to recover the ball, but that right-hand side have got in 2 or 3 times already early on, and full-back link-up. You know, good to see Ferguson getting in the box, and like you say, had a good swing at it with his right peg. Managed to hit the target as well and test Brad Mayo and the keeper. So, yeah, really pleasing to see.
It does look like Leeds, and they have possession. Monteiro is just moving into like a holding midfielder position in the number 4. There's a stoppage in the game here due to a head collision, which the referee, rightly so, is going to stop the game. And another chance to see those opportunities which Richards has created, and that effort from Ferguson. And we've often spoken about the promise of Joe Richards. He is a right back by trade. He's played left back. He's actually played left wing and an out-and-out left winger. And he just offers that freedom. He's got pace, willing runner. And, you know, as an ex-full-back, AD, if you can, in this modern game, if you can time your runs, you know, you do become pretty much a makeshift winger yourself naturally.
Yeah, I think it's in a lot of modern players' assets now, isn't it? They're very, very good going forward, and a lot of them are more forward-minded than defensively. I think you can see there by Richards' runs and his eagerness to get forward. And that quality of that final ball into the box there was very good to pick out Ferguson. He's got some real quality, and you know, hopefully we can utilise that. He's been in 2 or 3 times already in the first 3 minutes, so he looks like he started the game really well and putting Birmingham on that back foot.
Yeah, just checking with the young Birmingham man with the physio team about his ability to continue. Of course, we've got to run vigorous checks enough with the head collisions now in the modern game. You can't take any chances.
Unfortunately not. It's what I was eventually my career came down to, unfortunately, you know, head collisions and concussions, and that was kind of the end of my career. But you've got to be really important and honest in the assessment, and you know, hopefully I think it might be Byron Pendleton, the Birmingham captain, who got the knock. Hopefully he's fine and gets the all clear to carry on.
Here's Ombang. Forward into McFadden. Back out to Monteiro. Leeds just patiently making their way around the pitch tonight. There's a bit more patience being used here at the back. Of course, they were a bit more attacking. It was Monteiro's pass that helped that. As the Birmingham players wave back on, Monteiro's pass was astray. Leeds got a touch fortunate. Ferguson gets to the ball, rides the challenge well. Inside support was in the shape of Kenyon Coleman, who's had a recent loan spell and got a few goals while out with Buxton. Ferguson wasn't too far away from being able to pick out a teammate there. He'd taken his man on. It just didn't ricochet kindly enough for him. But I don't think Scott Gardner, AD, will be, you know...
I think he'd be very happy, yeah, with this initial 5 or 6 minutes. We've had all of the ball. I don't think Birmingham have really tested us at all in terms of going forward. We've looked to penetrate them out wide, especially in these full-back areas like we are now with Richards, who's put in another really good ball into that box there, hasn't he? Just, again, no one could really get on the end of it, but the link-up between the two widemans are very, very good. It also pins Birmingham in and their full-backs and allowing our our sort of attacking players just to drift into those areas where they can sort of between the lines and make a real difference when your fullbacks give you that width.
Yeah, we often seem to spend so much of our time now in the commentary boxes discussing the fullbacks and the way they charge forward, especially for Leeds, who have built a system that works in that department. Do you almost wish you were starting now?
Yes.
Your position would have been so important. Not saying it wasn't, but it was just, it was a proper defender's job. And then you with your pace, you got forward, you helped out. Now you'd just be up front.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? just leave the defending to somebody else. No, it's such a change from sort of, I was maybe of that era where growing up, I was like, watching the likes of Ashley Cole, who kind of did both sides of the game very, very well, and then, I was one of the maybe early attacking-minded fullbacks, and then it just seems like it's become very prominent in the modern-day game, and a lot of the time they get really high and wide, and then, like I said earlier, the wingers kind of drift inside and find pockets of space. But yeah, it's really pleasant to see such attacking-minded players in those wide areas, and they are definitely a key asset now going forward.
Yeah, Leeds' fullbacks have been crucial tonight, as Lopata-White has been just as important, feeding those players with a couple of forward passes, and he has possession, but inside this time goes to Monteiro, who, for the third time, cross-field pass to split the Birmingham midfield. Ferguson wasn't on the same wavelength as Coleman, who was just tucked inside him. Birmingham, though, despite the pressure, don't seem to be flapping at any point. They're pretty, regimented in their structure. They're clearing the ball away now with the heart of defence with Taylor Dodd at number 4. Douglas runs into traffic. Birmingham have bodies back, and Coleman nearly gets to the ball. Birmingham get goal side, which is a crucial intervention. And Pendleton has made some important interceptions back there, and he's also got Birmingham on the front foot, which they'll take into the Leeds half. Options running out, though, as a player goes to ground. There's a little nudge, and with the speed he's running at, can you see what the referee's given that?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm really happy with, I think it was Connor Douglas's recovery run there. Even though he gave away the foul, he was really quick to chase back. There wasn't a load of contact, but sometimes that's all you need, a tiny bit when you're running at the pace, like you said, Tom, and it's difficult to stay on your feet. But, nice to see also recovery runs from our forward players and getting back and making sure that they can't counter.
Yeah, it's a committed effort. One that was necessary there for Leeds. And inside the first 10 minutes, it's been a lively enough start. We haven't had too many goalmouth efforts in terms of saves. We have had one from Brad Mayo to deny Ferguson, and there's a body of work. He'll be really chuffed with that, Mayo, but Leeds just need to try and single out that defence, getting behind that. They have done. Richards had a storming start as he nearly wins the ball back, but it's now back to Dodd.
Again, really good to see pressure on that front foot from the full-backs. They're almost like wing-backs today, isn't it? It might be playing like a 3-5, so allowing those sort of wing-back, full-backs to get really high and also in that defensive mode and getting that early press on, as we just saw there again from Richards, unfortunately giving away the foul, but nice to see his eagerness and to put pressure on the Birmingham City defence as they sort of play around at the back, aren't they? Trying to almost get out, but we seem to be solid enough and applying a lot of pressure to their sort of passing.
Yeah, there's been 3 challenges in a row now that have been penalised for fouls. King Coleman's trying to explain his point of view to the referee, and it's because Leeds were in a position where if they win that ball back, they've almost got a 3-on-1. That was the level of annoyance, and due to the fact they quite blatantly didn't think it was a free kick. Birmingham have had quite a few touches, as Adie's just pointed out, at the back in recent minutes. It has been growing into the game ever so slowly but surely, as it's Ferguson intercepting the ball and a flick on from Coleman. That partnership yet to prosper, but a lot of support as Monteiro goes to more, and that is that level of support you've got when you're the centre of the 3 centre-backs. You know you've got 2 options out wide, at least at all times, and it's even 3 if Leeds are deep enough. But Birmingham pressurising, a bit mixed, AD. They're not exactly rampant.
They're almost going in the 1s and 2s, and unfortunately, I think it was Ombang there just gave away the ball a little bit sloppily. But yeah, they're not hunting as packs and pressurising really high, are they? It's almost like you're going individually and then getting picked off, which is good news for us. But Yeah, I feel like if they all stepped up maybe that 10-15 yards higher onto our defence, it might be harder for us to play out. It seems like we're doing that to them. You know, we're going really high, almost as our sort of front four is stepping right onto their centre-half's toes and full-backs, and it makes them difficult to play out, and hopefully, you know, it also means that we can regain possession in good areas and counter.
More with enough space and time to survey the field. Monteiro's pass bypasses Cresswell.
It's a lovely up pass, that, wasn't it?
Here's McFadden. Inside options include Cresswell and Richards. Winger cuts in, looking to try and squeeze the ball through. Nearly did so. Birmingham had the bodies, and Monteiro had to be strong and was. If he isn't there, it's a 2-on-1. Chris Moore is under pressure. But the support play has been very good. You can see the way that the formation will work. I think it's got to be happy, you know, aesthetically pleasing as a coach when you can see the system in your head you've built up all week, and there's little assets here where you can see that they're picking each other up and helping out. But it's also all about concentration. There has been a couple of moments, just a little bit, where
in that final third, wasn't it, where you think if you can just get that ball a little bit better executed and pick out your man, you know, we might have had that maybe 1 or 2 more chances of shots on goals, and put those sort of pressurised periods to more of an account.
Yeah, Isichei wins it back, just nudges Lopata-White off the ball. It's given Birmingham a chance to deliver a cross, one they didn't take. Richards had his own kick-up competition and plays it expertly well into Cresswell. Hilo runs into traffic, needed more of a command, I think, to get rid of that quicker. You can see how competitive this game is going to be. Birmingham, when they get the chance, are more than happy to ping it around the park, play some short, snappy football. Bringing it out from the back is Dodd. And now into Cresswell, who wins it back. It's up to a striker position where you just want to see Leeds maybe retain the ball a little bit better in that final third, but there isn't too much to worry about just yet. Yeah, Birmingham had their best spell for a while, but nothing for Ombang to worry about. Now McFadden's broke free. If he stays on side, there's a crossing opportunity. He just didn't get the required connection. He has enough to get a corner, but if he gets the fizz on the ball he wanted, I think, Eddie, we might have
another chance.
A supporting player.
Just that execution in that final third, isn't it? Getting that final cross or shot or little slip ball just fully executed. But down this right-hand side, we seem to be really getting in very easily. I'm almost feeling a little bit concerned for the Birmingham fullback. He seems very exposed. I think it's Mazwi down this Birmingham left back. Sort of, I feel like McFadden and Richards have been in very easily there.
There's 2 Leeds players down. Monteiro was at the back post. He wasn't the one going to ground. It was Richards. There was another one as well where Leeds were looking across at the officials. Certainly Richards was, as Birmingham are allowed to play on. And Coleman gives away a free kick, and
I think it probably was a free kick on the, you know,
yeah.
I think the Birmingham City player used his body really well and not allowing Coleman to get a little sniff of the ball without making any contact on him.
Nice play from the Blues. And
they've just grown, haven't they? In the last 5 minutes, they've just sort of regained possession a little bit better. We've had to drop off a little bit and allow them more respect on that ball, and it's just pinned us back a little bit more into the back 5.
Yeah, Ferguson does well.
Does really well there, doesn't he, with his strength of his body, making sure that he regains possession with the throw-in, and hopefully, you know, we can calm things down and get that foothold that we saw so early on in the game again.
Yeah, I think quite a mature decision as well. You don't have to rush it. You know, Leeds have wanted to play on the front foot, but just took his time, waited for players to get a bit further forward, and little small moments like that can allow you to regain control as Douglas just flirts with the idea of going cross-field. Instead he goes now down the line and gives it away near halfway, but safer though than the original cross-field idea he had. Forward header from Leeds doesn't find its intended target, and Douglas and Ferguson combine. You can pick your player to be at fault for that free kick, and both got to the player at the same time. Referee's going to stop the game in its tracks, and we're just starting to see Blues win a few more free kicks. just little 50-50s, and again that adds to the momentum where it aids their cause to get another foothold back in this game. They've immediately attacked with a set piece in which Leeds have defending to do, and that is done by Lopata-White with a last-ditch block, making sure that Ombang didn't have to do anything. But without the towering frame of Ruben Lopata-White, the goalkeeper's got to make a last-ditch save. We'll get Adie's thoughts in a second as this attack still isn't over from Birmingham, because Daniel Isichei is trying to wrestle his way past Richards, who got hold of his arm. Referee doesn't see enough to give a free kick. As they go back to halfway, we can go back to that very crucial block.
I think it came from a quick free kick and clever thinking from Birmingham as they played that free kick very early down the right-hand side, down our left-hand side, sorry, and it just exposed us a little bit. And it was great defending there. His positioning was brilliant from Lopata-White. Like you said, he used his frame really well and waited for the right opportunity to throw himself at that ball and just protecting the goal. And really good sense of positioning and also the ability to put your body in the way when it matters most.
So hard as well in the modern game to not do it. You've got to think about your arms and then your hands now, haven't you? You can't just... You've got to be very clever with it, and his positioning was really
brilliant. He's taken that excellently in terms of, like you say, his arms were down by his side. He felt full on with his body at no risk of giving away any penalties. And it's really difficult now in the modern game, isn't it, that you're constantly worried about your arm positioning, and you see players running out to wingers with their arms behind the backs because they're worried, and it just wasn't something that I had to do too much in my day.
Here is Isichei with an attacking run. Richards puts a bit more power into the challenge and gets a toe to the ball, and nearly 19 minutes gone. We have got a lot more of an even game now.
We have, haven't we? Isichei looks like he's got a really big frame, hasn't he? And he's strong, and we saw earlier in a previous phase of play that he was trying to hold off Richards, who's almost half his height, and Richards is doing really well and showing determination and pressure just to not allow him to be bullied.
Yeah, Leeds got advantage here as Cresswell makes an advancing run forward, a curling ball out wide. Leeds have got numbers as Ferguson joins in the attack, and the effort coming in, and Kenyon having a curling effort. It's a good save. The ball, though, from Cresswell is what made it. And again, referee giving advantage. It allowed Leeds. And rather than Cresswell sitting and playing it sideways, he recognised the opportunity that's available. Let's go early and see what we can do. Yeah,
we've made a few really good sort of 30, 40-yard diagonal passes, which we've executed quite well. Kenyon did well there to get his shot away, to test the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he just couldn't quite get enough whip on it to get round the side of Brad Mayo, but shot on goal, and it's what we want to see, and nice positive play, especially to turn them early and put them on the back foot.
Yeah, and again, I like the weight of the pass. Players staying on side, it's so crucial. Leeds have done that quite well tonight. We've had a good few instances this season where players are offside and it's stopped them building any momentum. The same cannot be said of this evening as Ferguson's beaten to the ball. Birmingham have got a 4-on-1 on that right-hand side. Now they've got overlaps, players tucking in behind, and Lopata-White, second time of asking, gets in, and even better, wins a free kick. And we hope it's just a knock and he can get to his feet. But centre-backs now, you've got to cover your full-backs when necessary. And that is really mature defending twice in about a minute and a half.
I think it helps when you've got sort of playing that back three where your wingers and full-backs can afford to go that bit higher. You've got that extra little bit of insurance, and when you've got players like Lopata-White back there with a big strong frame but also athletically very strong, and can get the body in the way and win free kicks in that area, it just kind of takes off that pressure off yourselves, and Lopata-White does that brilliantly.
Yeah, Leeds have been able to just take their time a little bit with the set piece, and the whistle there from the ref to just tell Daryl Ombang to speed it up a little bit. He's high hanging ball looking for Coleman, who just jumps just to put off the Birmingham player. It's enough of an attempt to win Leeds United a throw-in.
It's been a good sort of 20 minutes, hasn't it, from both teams. Birmingham have seemed to work their way into the game, and earlier on we had a lot of possession, and especially down that right-hand side, got in a few times. If we could just get that little bit better final third execution, and we might be in one or two goals up, but Birmingham have grown into the game, and it's a little bit more of a contest now.
Dodd bringing it forward. Of the two centre-halves back there, he and Godfrey Boakye, he's had the more touches. He's the one they turn to try and build out from the back. Ombang has had plenty of service as well. To play in this 21s team, you've got to be quite adaptable on the ball. We've seen Mahari for several months now, at least a year perhaps, as the 21s goalkeeper. And he's often the 5th defender back there trying to help out. And just maybe for the first time, Leeds are trying to play chess here at the back. They're going back and forth with their passing. Ombang now decides it's time to get Birmingham on their way on the back foot. And again, it's an accurate pass that makes the defender do something. And yeah, it's a bit old school.
Yeah, I don't think they're just necessarily defenders now. Like you said, that they're also attackers, aren't they? Because a lot of phases of play start now with the goalkeeper and his distribution. And we saw there from Ombang that it was a really good ball out wide. Yeah, no one was really on the end of it, but it's got us into a really good area, and that's absolutely fine to do. Sometimes it's not always on to play along the back. Sometimes you've got to go that little bit more direct, and Ombang sensed that and put pressure on the Birmingham defence.
Here's Richards, gets to the byline, cuts the ball back, a header away from the Birmingham defender in Mazwi, and a nutmeg to beat Connor Douglas.
Yeah.
And no surprise, a fellow ex-left back is praising a left back's bit of trickery. I mean, it's one of those, when you see Douglas coming in at that speed, you've got a chance. Now Douglas has got in behind him. Can he punish him? On this occasion, he can't. Beautiful ball in, begging for a touch. The only one it got was for Birmingham, but it's a corner. That's a nice little battle, that. Douglas says, fair enough, you've just done me, but now you've got caught napping, I've got him behind.
That's it, yeah. Again, if we could just, either that final execution or just one of our attackers getting across that front post, it just pins Birmingham defenders, drags them back in, and it exposes that sort of cut back a little bit more for somebody else to get on the end of. I feel if we could just get one or two more bodies inside that box, then we're helping ourselves in terms of getting somebody on the end of it.
McFadden again, delivery, similar position. This time the keeper's the one that stops it in Brad Mayo. And I mean, you identified it from 4 minutes, maybe less. You know, everyone's at the back post. The delivery's got to be better. When does somebody think I'm off to go stand at the near post?
It seems obvious when a team does that. It's generally pre-planned, and then I guess it comes down to the delivery, isn't it? And you know, unfortunately, 2 or 3 occasions of these set plays, we've not quite got across that first man, so maybe it's a case of mixing it up, and like I say, someone taking the acknowledgement and responsibility of saying, well, let's get across the first man now and actually try get somebody on the end of it, or change the set plays.
Blues coming forward, blocked pass from Mazwi. Donovan was the one that was trying to get in behind, and Richards the player that could smother it at source. Change in tactics. Moore's been beaten. Shot comes in. Tremendous goalkeeping.
Really good.
Ombang spares the blushes of Chris Moore, who got turned, and it's a really accurate throw to get them on their way as well. Now Leeds nearly getting behind, and if I'm Darryl Ombang, I'm running down the pitch to celebrate if that ball goes through and scores, because it's all his work. Yes, defender just got a touch tight, didn't he, Chris Moore? He just got knocked off balance a little bit, but the goalkeeper, I'm not sure he could have done any of that better.
I don't think so at all. I mentioned earlier how Daniel Isichei, the Birmingham City number 12's got such a frame on him, hasn't he? And then he kind of wriggled past our defender. And
but weirdly quick as well.
Yeah, he is. He's athletic as well. As we just watch it back here, Lopata-White loses the flick on, and then Chris Moore just gets a bit too tight. But really, really good goalkeeping. Not just for the save and smothering it at the feet, but that distribution straight away to notice we could get on the counter, get on the front foot again. And again, if we could just get a final execution in that final third, we'd have been away for a one-on-one chance.
Ferguson into Douglas, who's fighting away, leads into free kick here in that situation. I think Douglas was hoping the referee would give him one. There was no need, though, according to the official, as now Leeds on the back foot. Best bit of possession and, I guess, pressure Birmingham have had, considering the 4th save out of the Leeds goalkeeper. 1-2 nearly hits the referee. Leeds just trying to absorb the pressure as Cresswell pokes it away at the last second. And it's one of those where if he gets it wrong, it's a free kick in a dangerous position. And that is the free kick that Leeds have been craving for about a minute and a half. 0-0 it remains.
I think it was Betteka, the Birmingham City number 10, who felt like he'd got fouled there, with really good footwork. But for me, it was just really good pressure from, was it Coleman in that back, or Cresswell, was it?
Cresswell, yeah.
Cresswell got back in then really, really well and applied the pressure, so Betteka couldn't get on the end of his nice footwork.
Yeah, more trying to demonstrate where the ball is going into Monteiro. Celebrated his birthday a few days ago. Here's Lopata-White. Leeds just grateful for a slight breather to assess the attackers for Birmingham, see where they're coming with their pressure. Coleman's peeling away at left back to help out, allowing Ferguson to get in behind, and that's the pass that Leeds have picked out, but he's offside. And again, you can just see, you can draw that move on a piece of paper. Coleman drop in, that means Birmingham push forward a little bit. Yeah. Ferguson gets in behind. The only issue is, of all that move, he has to stay onside, but everything else was on the money.
Yeah, it seems like we've got that phase of play, haven't we, really nailed on. Like you said, the wing back goes really high, allowing Coleman to drop in, and then just that final little bit of holding your run and waiting for that ball just to come to you rather than preempting sometimes. Just from Ferguson, if it had allowed himself a split second, he'd have been on a really good phase of play. Yeah,
Coleman rode the challenge, chance to shoot, keeper saves, tapped in by, is it by McFadden? No, it's tipped away.
How's that not gone in?
And Leeds United, thanks to the efforts of Brad Mayo, are still looking for their first goal. Well, several players, Coleman was the bulldozer charging forward, showed a bit of class as well to get it across goal. The first save, then the second, and then the tap in from McFadden. You just expect the net to bulge. And somehow, from a touch from the goalkeeper, maybe the defender got back to help out. We are still waiting as McFadden's gone across to take the set piece. Let's hope it's a case of 4-time lucky with the delivery. It's a different signal this time. As he goes near post, the flick on does meet a Leeds shirt. It'll fall to Douglas. Sideways pass to Coleman helps Leeds continue this attack. And now a attempted driven effort from McFadden when they come off their one of those goals you want to watch and watch again. This time it doesn't, and we can get a replay of a goal that we think should have happened. And I think he's done the right. He's just tried to touch it towards goal and done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really good recovery run from the Birmingham City defender and the goalkeeper Brad Mayo there, isn't it? I mean, Keane Coleman brilliant to get the shot away, and then the rebounds come to McFadden in that wide area, and he just got his foot on the end of it and just couldn't quite get it away. But I was just waiting for the net to ripple. But yeah, fair play to Brad Mayo and the Birmingham City defender to keep it out.
Yeah, Moore gets across his defence to flick the ball behind for a corner. So we'll see what Blues can do from their set piece. Hopefully nothing, of course. 0-0 with 15 minutes left of the first half of this Premier League Cup tie. Leeds need to win and hope the results can go their way to progress in the competition.
Just watching how we're setting up here from the corner. Seems as if we're going like half zonal, half man-to-man, aren't we?
Looping ball in, headed away by Moore. Second touch in a row that's helped Leeds keep Birmingham at bay. Cresswell does well, puts his body in the line. It's going to be a kick to the ribs, and there's a little naughty kick to the head, which is just a generic universal thing for a player to get annoyed at. Even if a player has broke his ribs or his leg, I think a player reacts to a ball to the head.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that... It's just the rule.
Yeah, it's not nice, isn't it? When you're down and then all of a sudden you're getting a ball pinged at your head. It's that little bit disrespectful. And I think the referee showed a yellow card there, so we'll wait to see. I
think it's Menzi Mazwi was the one that pointed to himself to say, right, "Is that me?" But there's a talking to from Daniel Isichei, so we'll see who is at fault. So I mean, I think the foul is for the high boot.
Yeah,
but
is the yellow card for the? Well, that's difficult, isn't it, for us to see from here?
So it's Isichei that had the little cheeky... I mean, he would say he just passed it.
Back in the direction, but I mean, there was not loads of pace on the ball. It's not as if he's absolutely booted it, but nonetheless, it's in the direction that hit his head. So, yeah, it's a difficult one for the referee to turn down the yellow with.
Yeah, I think with the fact that Mazwi pointed to himself and then nodded, you know, he's the one that's being carded as Monteiro comes forward. Beautiful nutmeg pass to keep the attack going for Leeds. Now out to McFadden, dancing away from trouble, wanted to cross it, didn't have the space to do so. Richards, it's great from Leeds United this. Can they put the cherry on the cake to score. Header comes in from Cresswell. He gets over it and heads it down, but there was no power on the cross, which made Alfred Cresswell's job even harder. But some of the football Leeds are playing.
Yeah, lovely down that right-hand side. The combination between McFadden and Richards has been brilliant there. Nice little 1-2. And then the ball, like you said, it just didn't have quite enough pace on it. And where it was delivered, it was just almost too far away to cause any trouble for Brad Mayo in that Birmingham City defence, who actually does really well in that pressurised situation.
Birmingham advancing forward. That's stopped, though, by Ferguson's interception. That releases Douglas. Ferguson's now telling players out wide on the right-hand side to get further forward. McFadden just has to switch it up a little bit. Goes out to Coleman, who, despite having number 10 in his shirt, he's often been out wide more than he has to the middle of the pitch. It's clearly a tactic where Leeds think they can exploit Birmingham out wide.
Well, we've seen it numerous times already in this game, haven't we? Especially down our right-hand side. We've got him, must be 4 or 5 times now, I reckon. And I think on that left-hand side, Ferguson's been patient there with his defending and waiting for the opportunity to get forward. And Coleman's just drifting into different pockets of space and pinning back that Birmingham defence.
Yeah, Richards has got away here. The referee lets this one go. There's a big call from the referee not to give a free kick to Isichei, who felt he was being pulled. I think he was. He lost the boot, but then Richards was knocked to the ground himself. I think the referee just evened it up, and there's a few shouts from fans, players at the referee. Yeah. And the referee started to let the game and the action flow.
I think also then I feel like Mazwi almost like let the ball run out of play, and I think it was McFadden there that was shouting at the ref, saying, any chance, was that out of play? He seemed a little bit disappointed, and also I think Alfie Coleman had a little word with him. So, yeah, I think that was multiple frustrations going on at once.
Overall, it's been a pretty placid game in that respect. There's been a lot of good challenges, some good battles building out as well.
Good work from Keane Coleman there, wasn't it? Reading the Birmingham City's sort of attacking play and reading where his body was going to go, and then just put his own body in the way and intercepted the ball. Lovely, lovely defending from him.
Here's more.
More aggressive, that press, wasn't it, from Birmingham? They really stepped up that intensity there, and Ombang's then under a little bit of pressure and
misplaced pass.
Yeah, misplaced pass. So they might look to use that a little bit more, that high press.
Visitors with 10 minutes left, coming out from the defence with Dodd. Inside flick was on, but lack of power. Coleman. Now a chance, LNER, cutback is on, there's Monteiro, and Leeds score. Good finish from the centre-back, who got forward in numbers. An unusual position for Diogo Monteiro to beat, but a fine finish all the same. Leeds United 1, Birmingham City 0.
Yeah, really good play on the recovery of the ball initially to get away, as we just apply pressure in that final third. Connor Douglas does well to sniff out the ball, and then the ball through from Coleman puts LNER away, and then lovely roll across for Monteiro to do the easy thing and put it in the back of the net. Nice little goal, and that high press that allowed sort of Birmingham to get on that back foot and us to regain possession in a great area and counter-attack.
Yeah, good ball. Well weighted. Coleman first to split the defence, and then it's always a good sign when a defender who has played centre-half for a team every single game he's played in scores a goal which a number 8 would be proud of. But that's it now. He's going to have inspiration for the rest of his Leeds United career that he should be playing.
Number 8. No. Yeah, maybe, Tom, maybe.
You are holding me back, Scott.
Don't we all think we're goal scorers and strikers when we're defenders? We all think we're the best at it, but then... yeah, when we get in those positions, it's not always the case, and you realise why the strikers get paid the big bucks, eh?
Yeah, I mean, you said it really early doors as well about the fact we have got 3 centre halves. It does mean there's a little bit less pressure on one of them if they can get forward and help. And I don't think we expect him to be that far forward, but it just shows you when there's an opportunity to arise and nip out. If you can take it, then great. And that was perfect support play.
Yeah, brilliant. I think from someone like Scott Gardner's perspective, you'd want to see that, wouldn't you? The licence to go forward, knowing you've got insurance at the back with the other 2 centre halves, and just getting forward and showing the desire to also help in the attacking phase of play. And, you know, thankfully he's done that and then ended up on the score sheet.
Bring it out from the back is Godfrey Boakye. Tries to cut through Leeds' defence with a pass, but two Birmingham forwards go the opposite way. One goes right, one goes left. It went straight down the middle of the pair of them as Monteiro switches the play to Coleman. Effortless first touch. Ferguson making an inside run. He doesn't use him just yet. He puts it on the 6-yard box looking for a cut through. And the last-ditch attempt from a Birmingham player is enough. But there is, you know, there's a lot to be said about short-range passing. It can be so beautiful on the eye. But when a player can play a pass like that, a first touch like that, it, you know, it can, well, it quite simply did split Birmingham in half.
Yeah, it did. We've seen it multiple times in this game already, that long diagonal ball with quality, and then a lovely first touch from Keane Coleman there to allow himself to get that sort of positive play forward, and then that final little product. He's gone with the outside of his foot. Maybe if he just used his left, he might have got a bit more purchase on the cross, as the ball in another corner kick there, which we probably could have done a little bit better on the delivery. And we've gone here for De Bayo, who's just had to play it another long ball over the top and clear his lines, which is a sensible decision to make considering the amount of pressure.
McFadden. Coleman trying to hold his run, so McFadden has to keep going here with possession. He's done well to hold on to it, considering his options.
Yeah, it seemed impeded there, didn't it, from behind from the Birmingham City player. He almost should have refereed for me. There wasn't much advantage once a couple of yards had gone. Maybe bring that back and give him the free kick, because his options from then on were non-positive ones. But yeah, nice positive play from McFadden initially.
Yeah, Lopata-White positive again, strides into that Birmingham midfield and can't play a forward pass, but if you can't keep hold of it, Leeds do that. And because they've got three centre-halves, two of them are back there to help out. Ferguson to Coleman.
Another lovely diagonal ball.
Back out to Douglas. Inside now to Cresswell. Fancy footwork needed. Ferguson picks it up. Coleman looking across the box. Birmingham smother and have a number of blue shirts in and around the box to help out. Still going Coleman. Goes to ground. Gets a free kick. Did wonder for a second if Leeds were going to try and just maybe up the ante a little bit there and speed it up, but I think you can tell by Keane Coleman, who puffs out the cheeks, they want a bit of a break.
Yeah, he was under a lot of pressure there, wasn't he, Coleman, and did really well. One, using his body, and two, keeping the ball really close to himself with small touches, not allowing the Birmingham City defender any real opportunity to nick the ball away from him. So a really smart play from Keane Coleman. You can show what his real quality in those areas to wriggle away from defenders.
McFadden's delivery under hits it. He turns in frustration, throws the arm in the air. He does get a corner out of it.
Yeah, I think he's had a really good game so far as McFadden, but the one thing for me, you know, if he could improve in that, going into that sort of second half, just that little bit better care on the set plays would really help our attacking players get a bit more opportunities from them.
Let's see if he can improve it here with 5 minutes left. Monteiro's on the penalty spot looking for a brace. McFadden this time floats it. It is towards Monteiro. Keeper tips it away acrobatically. Brad Mayo with another good save to deny Leeds. Douglas wins it back. And more importantly, he gets goal side. Whipped in delivery. Monteiro is there again. Lopata-White. Birmingham, I think, looking for a free kick. The Leeds centre-half will now eventually concede one. That was better from McFadden. Tried a different technique.
Yeah,
well met as well.
It just shows you, doesn't it, when you get that little bit of quality and you allow your attacking players that opportunity that they need just to kind of put pressure on the goal of Birmingham. That little bit of quality shone through there, and it was just a hung-up, clipped ball, wasn't it? I think he's tried a few where he's whipped it in and it's not quite come off, and he's thought, right, this time I need to put a really good ball into the box. Just gone a little bit safer into a beautiful area. And, yeah, good save from Brad Mayo to stop it from being 2-0.
Yeah, I did say tongue-in-cheek a little bit, Monteiro's coming for a brace, but he was a punch away from getting it. And I've never seen a centre-half on a hat-trick, so it'll be the new one for my career as Ferguson wins a free kick. Leeds just started to maybe... there's a bit of an arm wrestle that they're winning out there. There's a bit more fluidity. I think you've said it just while I was commentating. The diagonal passes have just put Birmingham on the back foot a little, and after maybe 6-7 minutes of Birmingham pressure, Leeds have responded really well.
Yeah, like I said, it seems like we're playing nice and short a lot of the time, but then just to break the lines, that longer ball over the top has really caused Birmingham a lot of problems, and something they might maybe not quite used to, and we're exposing those full-back areas for Birmingham, and sort of those 2v1s that we're creating with our wing-backs really high, and then your likes of your Colemans and McFaddens working with them. It's getting us in really good areas, and we've had opportunities to put some decent balls into the box, and I feel like maybe a little bit more quality in that final third would be maybe 2 or 3 up.
Douglas to Lopata-White. Pings it to Richards, who after a very busy 25 minutes has not touched it for a while. Goes back to Lopata-White. He could have gone back to Ombang, but decided against it. Steady crossfield towards Coleman. Flick on header to Ferguson will reach its target. Monteiro apologising to those on the right wing that were expecting possession.
I think we've seen a bit of a drop-off from Birmingham in terms of their pressure due to those diagonal passes. I think they're now a little bit concerned that if we press us too soon, it leaves their fullbacks exposed, and now they've seen a quality that our centre-halves possess. They've just kind of dropped off onto the back foot and not really allowing us to make as many now.
Yeah, something to watch out for in the second half in particular. See how the 2 coaching staffs tweak things to get the upper hand again. Block from Monteiro. Reminder of the bench for Leeds. It's Kenyon, Chadwick, Pickles, Gray and McDonald.
If I was Scott Garner, I don't think I'd be tweaking too much, really. I think we've been, for me, the better team in this first half. Birmingham have grown into the game a little bit more in terms of possession, but apart from that one chance, Ombang's not really had much to do, has he? And what he has had to do, he's done really, really well.
Possession. Chang trying to break away from pressure. Good inside ball from Donovan. Back to Boakye. And he will go across to Mayo, who's made 2 big saves today. Considering the area that Leeds were in, the efforts he's had to produce, it could be 3-0 this. And of course, Ombang has made a save to make it 0-0 at the time. So I think we're a little bit hard done to that. We've only had the 1 goal.
I think so, yeah. Tom, if we'd, like I said, just had that little bit more quality in a couple of the crosses and from our set plays, we might be find ourselves a couple more goals up. But just on that phase of play there, I think Joe Richards did really well to put pressure on Daniel Isichei and not allow him to turn, and just runs out for our throw-in and we regain possession again. But yeah, really good pressure from Joe Richards.
Ferguson just got caught, but Leeds get away with it. Ombang striding out of defence, gives the ball away. And Lopata-White shows the quick pair of heels to spare the blushes of Ombang, whose distribution has been superb for 44 minutes and 45 seconds. Leeds take a quick free kick, 2 minutes of stoppage time. And yeah, a couple of occasions there, Ferguson got caught on the ball. Ombang's pass was then astray. Birmingham will, if you're Birmingham's coach, you're thinking, right, there's some points to talk about. If you can just get there a bit quicker, they're vulnerable. They are vulnerable.
Yeah, but in terms of recovery there, Lopata-White showing tremendous 1 pace, 2 strength, and then that 3 composure on the ball to wriggle out of a really tight area, and then help his goalkeeper out and make sure that there's no embarrassment spared.
Coleman glides forward, such a good runner of the ball. Coleman, chance to spread the defence again. LNER goes for it. It's blocked by Mayo, who's made a 3rd very important save near post this time, covered it well. But again, those passes for Leeds, whether they've been long, they've been well weighted. I think the offsides, they've managed to hold their line so well tonight so far, Leeds. And it's allowing them to just build up the pressure, keep churning out those attacks. And goalkeepers, I think they say with respect, they are a bit weird. I think Mayo is happy that he's had several saves to make. They'd rather do that than not. Don't think his coach would be happy, though.
No. I mean, as a goalkeeper, you obviously always want to show your talents, but at the same time, as a back five as such, you don't want opportunities against you, do you? And, you know, when you're called into an action as a keeper, you want to show what you can do, but, you know, you want to limit those as much as possible. But these sort of diagonal balls do seem to be causing Birmingham a lot of problems.
Yeah, even when they dropped back to win the header, they didn't have the support to help out, and Coleman got to it first.
Again, we just then regain possession in a decent area, and the composure that we're showing in that sort of middle to final third is decent.
Yep, so good news for Leeds so far, winning by 1-0. They have to hold on to this and improve it. I hope results go their way to progress into the knockout stages of the Premier League Cup. But so far, so good. Diogo Monteiro's finished the difference at half-time. Join us soon for second-half coverage. Welcome back then, as Oliver Pickles enters the fray. The youngster often stepping into the 21s team from the bench, and he does that exact same role tonight, replacing the number 8 in Alfie Cresswell. So a midfielder that can get forward and offer, best way to describe him is a real bundle of energy, is Pickles. He helps out in so many ways. Played a good few games for the 18s as well over the years, which we've covered here on our service and on LUTV. And myself, Tom Hill and AD White are bringing you all the action of what was a rather enjoyable 45 minutes. Leeds just didn't get the second, third, fourth goals that perhaps they wanted because of the efforts of Brad Mayo in Birmingham's goal. Leeds go with Ombang, Richards, Ferguson, Monteiro, Lopata-White, Moore, McFadden, Pickles, Kenyon, Coleman and Douglas. And as for Blues, it's Mayo, Pendleton, Mazwi, Dodd, Boakye, Donovan, Chang, Bateman, Betteka and Isichei. Birmingham also had a massive chance in which Darryl Ombang smothered Isichei's right-footed effort. But we sit here, Adi, with a full half to go. You know, we have to win to progress in the competition, so that should keep motivation levels very high. And there should be a lot of confidence. Yeah, for sure. I think Birmingham City are going to have to come out and apply a little bit more pressure in this second half, which hopefully leaves them a little bit more exposed. We saw a lot of long diagonal balls which caught them out, as we see another one here down to Ferguson on this left-hand side, which caused them all sorts of problems, Birmingham City in the defence. And we've been really good in those wide areas. If we could just get a little bit better execution in that final third with our crosses, then I do think we're going to cause more problems. Yeah, Ferguson gets to Coleman's pass. He's just not on the right foot that he wants to be. It's a misplaced effort from Leeds. Douglas trying to play a 1-2. Opportunity not there though for Leeds. They've been in some great positions. Pickles does well, wins it back, and chance for Leeds to get extra bodies forward. Now Ferguson, and again, every effort he's had tonight on goal has been right-footed, and he apologises for not playing the pass. I don't think you can apologise when you've nearly scored. No, I don't think so. I think he's done the right thing on taking a shot, and even if it is in his weaker right foot, you know, he's right 3-4 yards in front of goal. Probably should have done better and hit the target and tested Brad Mayo, but you know, found himself in a real good position, and fair play for getting the shot away. Birmingham just taking their time here with the throw-in, which Pendleton loses out on the rebound. Coleman gets to it. And a bit of extra juice to his run there, Coleman, to try and get the rebound, but not to be. Mayo just for a second lost possession of the ball. He lost a track of where it was and just got away from it. Yeah, I loved how he made it look like he'd just done a little two-step to make sure he knew what he was doing. He's lying. He lost that ball as here come Birmingham on the attack. Great block. Defending. That's brilliant defending from Chris Moore there, wasn't it? Showed him down the outside. Don't let him inside him. Make sure he times his tackle and block to that very last minute, and then makes a tremendous interception to stop that shot. How, you know, I know we watch that much football that you come numb to it, but how hard is that when you are pretty much standing still and a player's running at you at full speed? It's so difficult. You've got to, one, have the acceleration, two, the know-how and when to time it. It's really difficult, and he does tremendous there. So fair play to Chris Moore. Excellent defending. Yeah, as you say, it's the time, isn't it? Because if you time it early, he can run straight past you. If you time it late, it could be a penalty. Yeah, it's difficult. It's an art in itself, as Birmingham have a teasing ball in, which Moore heads clear. I think it's communication, the issues there. He's saying he didn't think anyone was behind him. Monteiro's telling him he shouted. Leeds get away with it. It is only a corner. But we've had a role reversal. In the first half, Leeds were on top and could have scored several times. Second half, it is Birmingham. And end of the day, They beat Leeds in the first game between these two this year. They're not going to go down without a fight. Left-footed delivery. Simple enough header for Monteiro, and now Leeds can burst forward with McFadden. He's going to have to try and run between the defenders. And they smother and come across, and Mazwi is on a card, so he couldn't dive in. But overall, you take your first instant, you had the ball away, there was no pressure. I mean, to say they had a corner maybe 15 seconds ago, and Brad Mayo's touching the ball, that tells you you've done your job.
Yeah, just unfortunate there on that.
Oh, huge space, sorry to break off AD as they're in behind here now. As Donovan, space to shoot towards goal, and
lovely defending
second
again.
Second time in a row,
Moore, yeah.
50-50 against each other. Moore stands him up. I mean, this game's lost its structure. It's just all out attack.
Yeah, it's become very open, hasn't it? You know, we'll go attack, you go attack, and it's a little bit exposed for the defences here. But you know, hopefully we can make a really good account of ourselves here.
Oh, Douglas done really well. Cuts the ball back. It was a tap-in waiting. Birmingham's defender sticks out the leg. I think it was Taylor Dodd as Ferguson tries to whip one towards goal. He was given too much space. This game has lost all of its pattern, and it's just shots galore. And again, I'm looking at the sheet, I'm looking at the notes. We look at the scoreboard. We're only at 1-0. I don't know how.
Yeah, Conor Douglas does tremendous there. It just goes past people, doesn't he? And then it comes out to the edge of the box, and Ferguson on his stronger left foot this time gets a lovely shot away. Just seems to be drifting to past the post, doesn't it? But lovely shot, and the amount of power on it and the angle of it was brilliant, but it just drifted past, unfortunately, that very last second.
Crafted play from Mazwi. Birmingham try to play their way out from trouble and successfully doing so. Only though to halfway, so no reason for Leeds whatsoever to be frustrated. Reminder of the subs that have not been used yet: Kenyon, Chadwick, Gray and McDonald. Plenty of attacking talent out there as Leeds win the ball back high at the pitch. McFadden. Douglas playing a new role tonight, really. It's a bit of a free role. He's out wide with his number on his back, but he's played so central for this evening as Leeds concede a free kick.
It seems like a lot of our whiff comes from our sort of full-backs / wing-backs, doesn't it? You know, the likes of Richards and Ferguson give that width, and it just frees up, you know, your Colemans, your Douglases and McFaddens just to drift into those spaces where they can cause a lot of problems and, you know, in between lines, which we speak of, you know, in the modern day football.
Birmingham coming forward, nearly goes out of play. That ball just kept in. Moore, he's caught late. Opposite numbers colliding.
Yeah, it was just seemed a little bit high, that challenge, doesn't it? And Chris Moore just got caught late as he cleared the ball, stayed down. I hope he's all right, because he's shown two really good defensive plays there earlier on where he just waited for the right time to make his tackle, and he's been called into action in this second half quite early on, and he's done tremendous there again here, just knowing and spotting that last minute to clear the ball. Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't help as well, does it? You know, there is a lot about football that can hurt. The one that I think is always underrated, when you clash kneecaps with somebody, that makes you feel sick for a start. When you play football and then you boot the underside of someone's studs, that's not ideal. When you do it in December and January, it adds an extra level of pain with the cold.
There's
some real problems out here for Chris Moore.
It's not nice, is it? And, you know, boots don't offer much protection. We have this discussion regularly, you know, with people about how boots nowadays are quite thin, and I've succumbed to it personally myself, you know, from having a metatarsal injury, and, you know, it's not ideal, but thankfully Chris Moore's hopefully just shaking this one off and can run it off.
Yeah, he's refuted treatment. He keeps pointing across the dugout to tell him that I think it's a case of just wanting to get his breath back, really, and then the best thing to do is smash the ball into the air to knock the pain away, and he's done that as McFadden beaten by Mazwi. Leeds under pressure here. Pickles racing back to try and stop Isichei, who gets away from trouble. He's pushed away by Pickles, and supporting play by Richards as well. Douglas getting forward, and Leeds defend that quite well, in fairness, because just for a split second it looked like they were going to be exposed. 8 minutes or so into this second half, and it's a really good battle, this. Both teams have shown they could easily go and get a couple of goals each. If they can maintain that, we should be in for a blockbuster finish. Leeds give away a free kick, much to their disappointment. I think, one, because they think it is a legitimate challenge, and then where this free kick is about to be taken, is not a good one to give away.
I think it came from a period of play just before that from a Birmingham City throw. I feel like Richards could have just dropped in the Birmingham City's attacker's toes quite early. He kind of just left himself in no man's land. They threw it over his head. He's having to turn and chase back then and gives away the free kick.
Looping ball in. Pickles gets across. Ombang, simple enough catch. And Ombang tempted by the idea to go long. He did it earlier, much to devastating effect, but this time there's no options. So it's a safety-first approach. Leeds, for now, would go up to second in the table. Need results elsewhere to go their way when the fixtures are played. And for now, doing their job. Stockport don't play Charlton until next week. So all these can do is win tonight and hope things go their way. And again, it's part of learning about being a modern day footballer as you start to play through the leagues. Those are the sort of situations you find yourself in as Douglas picks a pass to Richards. What a peach that is. Now, options, 3 of them in the box. I just think Richards maybe had too many of them to decide what to do. Douglas looks for Ferguson. It's cleared away. Coleman not happy that Richards just didn't fire that ball into the box. I mean, as through balls go, that was perhaps the best of the match, considering the power it had behind it.
Wasn't it? Brilliant, lovely execution, and then just that final ball into the box. Unfortunately, just couldn't pick a man out, but that through ball was spot on, like you said, the right weight, the right vision, you know, in terms of where he put it on the pitch, causing carnage for the Birmingham City defenders chasing towards their own goal. It had everything. Just slowing the game down here, aren't we? Which is fine to see. You know, we're 1-0 up. It's been quite end to end, and in this second half, so it's fine to just pause for a minute and make sure we're set up defensively as Lopata-White goes. And nearly a little mazy there, didn't he? Just showed Birmingham player a little bit of the ball, but does well to regain it.
Richards, Monteiro, McFadden. I mean, it's one touch, close quarter stuff from Leeds. McFadden takes a couple to help his team out. Lost possession though. Into midfield for Birmingham. Boakye pressured by Coleman. Forces himself back towards goalkeeper Mayo. We can only go and find Ferguson. Early ball inside. Coleman. McFadden's across. Will Coleman use him? Tries to poke it across. Brilliant goal. And Leeds United, with Douglas in fact the one that celebrates. McFadden further behind, and Kean Coleman and Conor Douglas have every reason to celebrate together. It's a really good goal. Ferguson's ball in that separated everything to get Birmingham on the back foot. And that is perfect support play, just like the first goal.
Yeah, really good play. Initially from Ferguson, who has the composure to bring it down on his chest, pick out LNER, and then flicks it round the corner into Coleman. Coleman has a chance to go to goal if he wants to. He's unselfish in his play, slides it across, and then a nice little tap in there from Conor Douglas. Brilliant little goal, wasn't it?
Leeds preparing some subs after that goal, and our mark nearly upon us. And those players can now be given a round of applause. And coming on, Chadwick for Max McFadden.
I think McFadden's had a really good game for me. You know, he's been lively, especially in that first half.
And Harry Gray will enter the field of play, and a chance with a good half an hour left. You know, when you're a substitute, I'm sure already it's just a case you just want to play and get on and do something. But half an hour now is such a good chunk of time. And you know, with modern rules, you're probably looking at 35 minutes. So lots of time for the subs to make an impact, and they're doing so at a scoreline. And if they've been paying attention tonight, Birmingham are not going to stop. If they get the next goal, it's going to be a tough 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get a good chunk of time as a sub. You know, when you're coming on with 2 minutes and 1 minute to go, it's always difficult to make any kind of impact, and you you can't really be judged on your performance. But tonight, when you've got 30-odd minutes to make an impact on the game and stamp your authority and, you know, hopefully come up with a chance creation or a good tackle or whatever it is you can contribute to the game, you know, it's a real good opportunity to showcase yourself as well.
Coleman wins the free kick, in which Monteiro is going to take his time. Just rolls it to Moore, who will have the time to assess the field. He's going to go cross field to Richards. If he's onside, that's a really well weighted ball, which goes behind him. Stood up well by the defender. Isichei then gets a free kick. Another crossfield ball that makes it look like Leeds have maybe 14 players on the pitch.
Quarterbacks all over the pitch,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I mean, I don't know whether this is pre-planned from Scott Gardner. You know, maybe he's seen a weakness in Birmingham City and those sort of full-back areas, but the amount of times we've done this 6-7 times in the game with not just the vision to see it, but also the quality of the pass has been really good, and we put Birmingham chasing towards their own goal, you know, lots of times in this game, and fair play from our sort of central defenders. I think, you know, Lopata-White's done it, Monteiro's done it, Chris Moore's done it then, you know, they've all been really good quality on the ball as well, which is nice to see from his centre-halves.
Good challenge that from Leeds in midfield. Chadwick picked the pocket. Birmingham were away on the attack, and before they knew it, they'd lost the ball. Ombang to Lopata-White. Was looking for Gray for his first touch. He will concede a free kick and going to try and get it. But one of those challenges where striker's just a little bit overzealous. Try to do too much to defend. Birmingham, you know, penny for their thoughts really, because they've been exposed a few times. You know, they should not be surprised to be 2-0 down, but they've been very well organised. They've got in behind here. That's the threat I was about to mention. Lopata-White, shooting opportunity, which they've not taken. It's thankfully blazed over by Byron Pendleton. But I think, you know, while they easily could have scored 4 goals tonight, Leeds, and I don't think that's me, you know, being too harsh. No. Birmingham will feel they've got into better areas, and it's hard as a youngster. You know, you almost get a little bit fed up. You know, you're not. Some of them, you know, they're learning on the job. And I do wonder for the next 5 minutes, are they just a little bit passive, or they come out all guns blazing? It's a tricky 5 or 10 minutes in this game now.
Yeah, as a young player, you're always learning and developing, and these experiences will serve them well going forward. You know, sometimes it's having your manager or your coach, you know, inform you on, you know, what you should do in certain situations. But a lot of the time, it comes down to the individual and, you know, accepting responsibility and making those decisions on the pitch which have the most impact. And, you know, Riz has really opened up this second half, especially now going 2-0 up. Birmingham, for me, are going to have to come out, which they've done well in certain areas of the game, but we look really strong defensively. Again, Lopata-White there putting his body on the line.
Still going here, Birmingham. This man's been a tricky customer, Donovan. He's actually been the best player in the second half and could have had a couple of goals, but for some last-ditch blocks from Chris Moore. Coleman to Gray. Holds it up well, gets caught late. You can hear that with the studs clipping him, and that's where Leeds are now starting to ask for a free kick or two and a few cards. Fans in particular not happy. And there's a fair few fans that have got an opinion on matters which they believe the referee should be putting a lid on things. And again, which when you get your accumulations, when Chris Moore's been kicked down this near side in front of the supporters, now Harry Gray, referees are always going to be coming under scrutiny. Yeah,
sometimes it adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it? And unfortunate for referees, you know, they're the first to come under criticism. And, you know, for the most part of this game, I think, you know, the referees done a fairly good job, but just needs to make sure that doesn't allow one too many to go, and then the game comes a little bit out of control.
Yeah, Richards bursting forward, tries to squeeze it through. Gray was his target, couldn't pick him out. Now, a lunging run forward and a free kick for a foul on Chadwick, one of his first touches. And I would be very surprised if he isn't at the front of the queue to take the resulting free kick.
Yeah, nice positive play, wasn't it? drawing the foul, and then, like I say, it's that really good area, just sort of the corner of the box where, is it a cross, is it a shot? You know, it can kind of be both sometimes, and then hoping for somebody just to get on to the end of it on that bat stick. And, you know, if he puts it in the right area here, it gives us a great opportunity for runners to get across the front and get across the back, and just hopefully it's a good delivery.
Yeah, Chadwick teasing ball in, keeper punches clear. Douglas brings it out of the sky, had snow on it as he brought it down. It was really difficult to control. Not that it made it look difficult.
No.
Corner ball.
Really, really good first touch there, wasn't it? You know, like you said, the disguise almost like he was going to shoot, and then he's brought it down with that first touch onto his left foot, you know, and then gets the shot away and causes the defender to Pendleton just to make the block and put more pressure on with another corner.
Chadwick. Another good ball in. Birmingham head clear. Donovan, foot race with Douglas. I mean, Douglas is quick. Donovan to beat him for pace tells you how quick he is.
Looked really sharp there, didn't he, over that 10-15 yards? Like you said, he seems like he's been their bright spark for Birmingham in this second half as Donovan. So we just need to make sure that we keep him quiet and not allow him any extra runs or chances to get our defence.
Yeah, Douglas carded for that. I know it's in Birmingham's half, but I think the referee's got a point.
Yeah, I mean, he's broken away quickly, hasn't he? And he's not got too many more players to beat. And the area of the pitch for Douglas, you know, I don't really think it's necessarily a bad foul to give away.
No, it's a fair point. As the fourth official will just look behind him, I think he wants instructions of whether this substitution is about to be made. And Birmingham will say they want to execute it, and Betteka is replaced. And on in his place was Frank Tattum, the number 17. It's Pendleton racing away, twisting away. Some run this. Leeds had to be careful. Plays it forward. The block comes in. It's just over the top. Lopata-White, like he did in the first half. Right place, right time. I mean, we've seen some flamboyant fullback play tonight. This would have actually been the pick of the entire lot, annoyingly, against us.
Yeah, really good play from Byron Pendleton there. Went on a really good Mazwi, and then the link-up play for the 1-2s, had a little spin, and then a little slip in for the shot for the Birmingham attacker. But really good build-up play, but they've just regained a little bit more of a foothold, haven't they, in this second half, and it has opened up a little bit more. I think that next goal's probably a little bit crucial. You know, you never know at 2-0 up, do you? You know that next goal swings the momentum one way or the other, and hopefully it's in our favour.
Here's Dodd to Boakye. Birmingham.
I think with Birmingham, you know, having a little bit more spells in the game, it seems like our press has just gone a little bit more to a mid to low block, hasn't it? And we're not quite as on the front foot, and I think that's because they've worked their way into the game a little bit more in this second half, and we just had to give them a little bit more respect, and we don't want it quite as open, we want it that little bit more compact now defensively.
Played across the park, Donovan again. Ferguson's going to try and force him to the outside, and he slips over. It's the first mistake he's made. We've all been there. Again, it's the trickery. He's beat his man. He's a touch unfortunate, and Leeds have to stop him from finding space.
Yeah, he's very lively, isn't he? He faces up Ferguson here well, adds a little shimmy into the mix, and then as he goes to either get his shot or cross away, he just kind of knocks it away with his standing foot.
Over the top towards Coleman. Coleman has Gray up front alongside him. Still going, Coleman uses the body to try and have a go. Stung the palms of Mayo. His teammates wanted the pass. He did well to keep the ball for so long, but the referee just stops proceedings. And again, it's another crossfield high early ball, which nearly undoes Birmingham.
Coleman shows great feet and composure here, doesn't he? Just waits for the defender almost to go for his shimmy, and then I feel like he could have just maybe got that shot away half a second before, and he just delays it. Yeah, I feel like he'd have just caught the keeper out a little bit more if he could have got the shot away earlier.
Birmingham making a change in which they'll put Wynne onto the pitch in place of another midfielder, and Chang is the one that will make way.
For us now, it's just about making sure we're compact, hard to beat, and then waiting for the opportunity when we do get those almost cross-field balls or a slip through the lines, just making sure we put the game to bed now.
Good challenge from Ferguson. Adamant he won a throw-in, not according to the official. A yard in front of him. Pickles this time the one that makes the challenge. That one not as strong as appeal for the Leeds defence. Birmingham just racking up the throw-ins. They're racking up the possession down the right flank as well, with this man Donovan causing tons of problems. Ferguson makes a challenge that would make you wince a little bit.
It was a strong challenge, wasn't it? I mean, fair play, he won the ball. It's one of those that you have to in those circumstances, because it looked just a little bit high. But yeah, he's won the ball, and there was no complaints from Donovan, so it must have been a very, very good tackle.
Yeah, I can tell why you were nervous though, because the worrying bit, well, there was a few players, and you do wonder if he's going to get sandwiched. But I mean, a couple of them got to the ball. It is high, but it's like the base of his heel that touches the ball, isn't it?
I mean, looking back on the replay, there can't be many complaints, can there? I think it was the combination of Pickles and Ferguson there, just kind of sandwiched in between him, and there was nothing malicious. So good tackle and good play from both of the lads.
Yeah, as you say, Ferguson, got a very good touch of the ball.
Yeah.
Fair enough, he might have just come down a little bit, but not to the point where we had any risk of injury. Good old school challenges. Birmingham just told to wait a little bit for the official to have a word with a couple of players in the penalty area. Coleman is at the heart of it. He is a very, very competitive young man, and he will be wearing that shirt with pride, refusing to back down for anybody that comes in his way. That is why the referee is no doubt having to have a word with him in the area, as Monteiro gets a toe to the ball. Gray nearest to it as well. Monteiro, second time in a row. Third time loses out though. Isichei gets to it first. Either he's been forced away by the intense pressure from Leeds. Pendleton thought about crossing the ball, decides against it.
Gone for their own long diagonal technique now, haven't they? But Donovan there just came down with a little bit of snow on it. He just got under it that little bit too much. And yeah, nice defensive play there and positioning from Joe Richards on that right-hand side. Cushioned header to regain possession.
Lopata-White. Richards. Back to Lopata-White, who's playing football like he's not a centre-half.
He is, isn't he? He's
football.
enjoying himself out there.
Yeah, I think all three centre-halves have shown that ability on the ball. Modern game now requires you to be very comfortable in possession. All three centre-halves have pushed forward, gone wide if they have to. Here's Gray, charging into the area, still going. Chance to try and poke it home, which he has. Picked his spot in the far corner, and Harry Gray scores Leeds United's third. And that will probably be game, set and match. Beautiful goal, did it all himself.
Yeah, tremendous play there from Harry Gray, wasn't it? first that long ball, which we've seen cause problems, but then the first touch to bring it down here, and then he faces up his man, waits for the right opportunity, shows him the little dummy, and then drifts inside. But then it's the finish for me. It looks like he's just got almost in his stride, and he just like kind of poking it away. It looked like he had no power on it, but the precision that he showed to get into that corner of the goal was fantastic. Brilliant little individual play from Harry Gray there.
Yeah, really good work, and they're often I think you see it so many times when players, you don't have to blast the ball home. If it's accurate, it's going. The keeper doesn't have to get to it, and there wasn't that much power behind it. It's just expertly placed in the far corner, and there we have the goal.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about that period of play, half an hour coming on as a sub. It's enough to make an impact, and for Harry Gray there, he's done a tremendous job at showing what he can do, and no doubt he's a talented lad. But like you said, that finish and the almost expertise to know that he doesn't have to blast it and he can just place it and catch the keeper off guard almost. It was a lovely finish.
Yeah, McDonald is on the pitch, by the way. He's got the ball here. He has replaced Douglas, so another attacking winger to add to the course for 15 minutes. It's been a good squad tonight. There's been a lot of 18s over recent months in the team, and Leeds have probably got the most experienced team they've had for a very long time out there, albeit with the exception of Rory Mahadi, who's normally the starting keeper. He's with the squad tonight in the warm-ups, but even he still only was in the 18s last year, so it tells you the age. But when you can bring like-for-like players on, you're not going to change your structure. When players can just fit into the system, it helps you as a youngster, doesn't it, surely? I
think we see that a lot in the first team as well, don't we? We've got those, especially tonight as well, showing we've got really good strength in those wide areas, not just in our first team, but in our under-21s. And, like you say, when you're not having to do too much tactically, you've just got a like-for-like and a person coming on who maybe have a slightly different asset, but we've shown real squad depth tonight in those wide areas. Harry Gray coming off the bench and scoring goals, but not also that. Chadwick and Pickles have put themselves about and given really good accounts of themselves.
Richards. Mayo's under pressure from Coleman. Get away with it.
Yeah, get out of jail free card, that wasn't it. You just almost hoped for a split second that we were just going to pinch it and really put this game to bed then. But Donovan here's looked lively for Birmingham. Oh, it looks like he's almost just stood on himself or got a bit of cramp in the process.
Pendleton. More racing across. Ombang's committed early to come and catch it. That's exactly what he wanted to do. You often feel with keepers, just because so many don't do it now, you think when you're setting off that early, you almost panic, but I mean, that was just as simple as you like.
Yeah, tremendous bit of keeping there from Ombang, wasn't it? Like I said, it was high in the air, he watched it well, knew he was coming out, but he didn't have to punch it like we see a lot of keepers do nowadays. He gathered it and then killed the whole attack, which was, refreshing to see. So I was just watching this replay here, I think it is maybe cramped for Donovan. He's been really good for this.
Serves him right.
But yeah, it's caused
if you're that good and you twist that many times, your muscles are going to eventually give up on
you. Yeah, but he's been their bright spark, hasn't it, this second half? So hopefully it works. Not that I want anybody to be injured.
No.
But yeah.
I joke, of course.
We've for sure been impressed by him tonight.
Yeah, I joke, of course. I wish him all the very best after the 90th minute is over. Here is Richards. Does well to keep it alive, but in doing so, he just pretty much teed it up for Birmingham to bring the ball forward, and Blues player gets it caught underneath their feet. Leeds are smothering, win it back. Numbers is McDonald. Coleman's there. The cutback was poor. Coleman is stood on his spot in disbelief that the pass didn't come because he was open throughout that entire move. And Leeds have got into some great areas. The scoreline is so positive. This is a great performance tonight from Leeds. And yet they could have more. You can see the players are going out there to hunt for them. Coleman again gets in behind, like a second striker in this encounter tonight. Lays it off. Pickles will have a go. Curls it. Keeper tips it on, but there's Gray in the rebound. And again, Brad Mayo on another night is man of the match. And some of the ways he's performed, he's made 5 or 6 saves that are worthy of round of applause. That is another one.
Yeah, tremendous save there, wasn't it? A nice little lined-up free shot there from Oliver Pickles. Placed it really well, and then Brad Mayo's done tremendous just to tip it onto the bar. And unfortunately Harry Gray just couldn't quite make enough connection to slot it home on the rebound.
Well, the Birmingham sub coming. I mean, I know it's deceiving people. Unless you meet them in person, you struggle to understand the size. He doesn't even look that big, Brad Mayo. That makes that save even more impressive. That he's managed to do that as Birmingham prepare to take off Donovan, who can now get his cramp seen to. Had a really good performance out there. One to watch perhaps for the future. Ruiz-Rente is going to enter the game as now Richards has gone down. He has a bit of an issue to shake off. He's on his feet. He's happy to continue.
Again, hopefully it's just a little bit of cramp because he's been up and down this pitch all night long, hasn't he? He's covered some ground for sure. And, that first sort of 20, 30 minutes, I think he had, 2 or 3 chances down that right-hand side to put balls into the box. And, from the off, he put Birmingham on the back foot.
Here's Coleman. Smashes it towards Gray. It's a good first touch. It was a good pass in the end, just not what you expected. Gray will concede a free kick. Leeds don't think there's much in it. This is where Birmingham perhaps could be taking things a bit quicker. They've got a few players that are in the wars at the minute. Players are going off with cramp. And in possession now has just been limping before giving the ball away as Moore gets to the misplaced pass, does one of his own. Just start to see maybe that mental fatigue, AD, where players are just starting, it's tough to be at your very best for so long.
Yeah, I think that because the game's become a little bit more open, it's a little bit more erratic as well in the decisions making. It's not as much patterns of play, it's more impulsive. And that's when, people can make mistakes with mental fatigue. We saw then, I think Chris Moore, he's done a few balls in the second half over the top, causing Birmingham lots of problems, and I think just that pattern before he maybe could have gone that little bit longer.
Plenty of time for Lopata-White. Richards tried the fancy back heel to just flick it away. He nearly got it right, but again, just shows you the fluidity and the freedom that they've allowed the right back, that he was one of the furthest players forward when trying the back heel, and that was because Lopata-White was practically stood at right back.
He's played well as Lopata-White tonight for me. Again, his contribution from his long balls, his short balls, but also, his defensive play. That first half he had a couple of really strong duels, one-on-one duels, which he came out on top of. Harry Gray does well there with that throw-in, doesn't he? It was almost an awkward one to deal with. It
bounced horribly.
Yeah, it did, and it somehow ended up at head height, but to cushion it down and regain good possession of the ball there, he's done really, really well, because it wasn't an easy throw-in to deal with.
Back it goes to Ombang, who deals with the situation into Lopata-White. Now McDonald dancing away from trouble. Richards again, he's shaken off that injury and found a new gear because of the pressure there. Intent as you like, as Gray tried to hold it off. McDonald just couldn't flick it into his path. Birmingham come away with it. Leeds at 6 or 7 white shirts there all around the ball, so space to work into. Isichei's gone to right wing now. Ferguson stands him up. Their first battle against each other. And now Ferguson sends it long quickly to Gray, who's beaten the offside trap. Now tries to hold off the striker. He has the strength. He's just running away from the ball. He claims he was being pulled. That was an opportunity that could have gone so differently for Leeds, and it's all thanks to the work of Conor Ferguson. Great pass.
One, obviously, defensively was really solid there, wasn't he? Waited for the right opportunity to make the tackle, but then 2, to get that distribution away effectively for Harry Gray.
First time as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant, lovely cushioned ball down the line, had perfect weight on it, and then Harry Gray was using his body really well there, and there was a strong claim from a penalty. Felt like he was being dragged back. Remains to be seen about that, but you know, a lovely ball, like you said here. It just allows Gray just to get his body in the way, and he's doing everything right, isn't he? But they're both at each other's shirts, and yeah, the referee's in a good position to maybe not give the penalty.
Yeah, I do. Obviously, it's not Harry Gray's fault. I do wonder if he could have seen or expected the defender to come across. He might have made a lunge to the ball. I think he's just trying to shield it and get as close as he can to the goal.
I think he realises. I think it's Godfrey Boakye there, who's really strong presence in that back line for Birmingham. Really tall, physical lad, and I think he's trying to almost just battle him off before he goes towards the ball. I think if he could maybe do both at the same time, then he's definitely away.
Here's Monteiro to Gray. Cuts it back for Coleman. Good first touch. Second, equally matched. Mayo gets there again, offside against Gray in the big rebound. Famke and Coleman, I'm having a bit of a word with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think he'd be disappointed there, Coleman, isn't he? He's had a couple of chances tonight to get on that score sheet, and here's another one where he takes that first touch really well back across the defender. And
does he do much wrong there?
No, he doesn't. It's just a good save from the goalkeeper. Maybe if he just puts it at a slightly different height, in the corner a little bit more in terms of on the ground, then it might have been slightly different. But a good save from Mayo again, who's been 6 or 7 times he's been called upon, and he's
2 or 3 of them have been against Coleman as well.
So it's unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there'll be a few Leeds players that go up to him and
after the game,
bit of respect. Yeah, I think sports people at all levels, you can appreciate quality. And a big thing for Leeds, of course, a clean sheet. It'll be massive tonight. It'll certainly help their cause for progression. As Monteiro has it now, loops it down the line to Chadwick. Pickles flies in. One of those ones that makes you wince before he does it. It was a committed challenge. McDonald will give away a free kick. It's probably a card. I think Lopata-White was then quick to kick the ball away, so it is McDonald that is carded. And I think every card is one of those where you think, I can see why the referee's given it. There's not much to know. He doesn't win the ball. He falls over. It's a tad unlucky.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, isn't it? As a player, you always feel hard done by, though, don't you? When you've received a yellow, and you always want to fight your case. And yeah, Josh McDonald there feels a little bit in those circumstances, I'm afraid. Again, it's just getting that little bit. Few tackles out there that just seem to be disrupting the game. I think it's 4 minutes of normal time to go, and we're very determined to win here and see it out, and no one wants to concede a goal. So that almost competitiveness that we talked about earlier, with Chris Moore and other players and Keane Coleman, it's only right that everybody on the pitch has got that, and everybody wants to be a winner, and it's for sure showing now with the amount of tackles and free kicks that are just disrupting this game.
Yeah, it's got that scrappy nature, hasn't it, where I think games normally do when Leeds are happy to concede them. Birmingham to keep the scoreline as respectable as possible. They'll do a few cheap fouls as well. Leeds just usher the ball out of play and get a goal kick, and those are the areas where I think this back three's worked very well tonight for Leeds. Covering defence has been good. It helps with Ombang. He seems to have really commanded a bit of, really injected some presence into that back line, communicated quite well. And we were a couple of minutes away from a pretty perfect night at the office.
Yeah, I think Ombang's been really good when he's been called upon. That save in the first half was brilliant, and then his distribution. And then the second half, like I say, with his presence from the set plays and corners and crosses, he's collected well. And apart from that, he's not really had tons to do, which credit to the back five, who have kept him pretty safe tonight. And hopefully they can go home with a clean sheet.
Ferguson and Moore having a debrief here. Ferguson questioning Moore's decision to try and drill it into his path. Moore defending it, and it just shows that competitive nature. Leads a 3-0 up with 2 minutes left of regulation time as Gray's taken that off the ball. Chadwick just plays on regardless. And then flies into a challenge, and it wouldn't be a Leeds United 21s game without Reece Chadwick jumping into a tackle for the greater good. possessed by Isichei. Tried to play it down the line, but unable to do so. And as referee been told to stop the game, so a player can
shin pad.
I mean, I don't want to say it because I'm going to sound like my dad, but
I know what's coming.
That's not a shin pad idea, is it? It's just not a shin pad. It's not.
Well,
it's not.
It's not a cricket pad, that's for sure, is it?
It's not. I just thought it was a little bit of litter.
I've seen multiple players in my career that have not used shin pads as such. They use like all sorts nowadays, foam pads, whatever they can get away with.
Well, now they're the
to go to, aren't
they? I mean, I don't know what they are, but fewer players wear shin pads than you can see it just visually. You look at the players, the socks they've got on. There's nothing there. I
mean, a lot of players don't also train.
I sound so old.
A lot of players don't train in shin pads at all nowadays. You know what I mean? And it's a comfort thing, and they're willing to take a bit of a knock for that added comfort and that freedom. Gone are the days of the straps around shin pads. It's just a little sliding socks, and like I say,
ankle protectors as well.
Ankle protectors,
they were the best.
Yeah,
they were the best.
They've gone now. You can't pass a ball in ankle protectors. That's the problem. Bobbles up and hits your ankle protector, off it goes.
See, I never had that issue. That's just I just didn't get the ball. That was not about the quality of the pass. I just never had it as Leeds come forward. Into stoppage time we go. And do we have a candidate, Eddie, for your player of the match? Someone that stood out better than anyone else for you this evening?
For me, I think Joe Richards has probably been my star performer. All over the pitch, to be fair, we've had some really good displays. Lopata-White's been solid in defence, as has Monteiro. But for me, Joe Richards just set that tempo down that right-hand side early on, and he's been up and down and showed some good quality with his runs, and pinning in that Birmingham City back line. So for me, I'll go with Joe Richards, and he's a fellow full-back. So
I was waiting for it. Here's Gray. There's a look at goal. Might get a better look now as well as he gets onto his left foot. Rebound will fall kindly to the Leeds sub. McDonald bounces off his defender, goes for goal. Deflections galore, and it still hasn't gone out of play. Birmingham just about keep it alive. I think they're happy to hear the full-time whistle in a few moments. Pickles made a big difference in midfield. He's won a lot of the ball high up the pitch. He's often understated what he brings to the midfield. Just goes about his business very well. Could have got a goal as well, but for that save from Mayo as Gray gives away a free kick. And that scrappy nature. Gray's added a real bit of physicality to the play up front. In doing so, we've probably given 4 or 5 free kicks away, him and his teammates, adding a bit of grunt into the challenges. Birmingham on the attack. Lopata-White, that's a corker. Flies in, might even get the second rebound, still on his feet, and plays it just a little bit over hit for Chadwick. He can stay forward though, Lopata-White. Leeds have numbers queuing up. Pickles again to McDonald. There's no real urgency from Leeds to go out there and get an attack. If that's Diogo Monteiro doing what Lopata-White did, he's launching it.
Yeah, I mean, it was tremendous, wasn't it, from Lopata-White, that really strong challenge, and then to also get up and show the composure to regain possession.
Yeah, ball is going to come forward. McDonald tried to squeeze it through. Good strong run from Isichei, another one that you put on the notepad for a bright future from Birmingham where he's played. And all the way through to Ombang. A couple of minutes left. So job done for Leeds, as I said. They have to hope results elsewhere in the competition. The Premier League Cup go their way. That game isn't going to be played between Charlton and Stockport until next week. Stockport, in fact, have a couple of games left which, with their matches played. They've only played the 4. So a waiting game for Leeds United. But the job that they had to do tonight has been firmly done in style. 3-0, and could easily, but for some inspired goalkeeping at the end, be 6 or 7. As there goes the full-time whistle. So Leeds end January with a fantastic 3 points, 3 goals, a clean sheet, and they can look forward to the game in the future, Chelsea, for the next league game for them to sink their teeth into. But goals from Monteiro, Douglas and Gray, wrapping up what has been a fine night. Thanks once again to Eddie White for his time this evening Always great to chat to you, Adi, and enjoy the weekend. And let's hope for 3 points for the Mighty Whites. The full-time score at the LNER Community Stadium is 3-0.